Today we're going to be looking at Publisher Rocket and just looking at an overview of how it works and how I've used it in the past to get keywords and assess competition for my books on KDP. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Paul Marles and I do videos on how to make it, keep it, grow it. That's your money I'm talking about. If you like videos like that, give it a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell to receive notifications of when I produce more videos like this, and remember to turn your notifications on. So, Publisher Rocket. I've been asked by a couple of people in the comments if I could just go over Publisher Rocket. Now, I've had this for over a year, probably a couple of years actually, and I've not used it a huge amount. I did use it quite a lot last year. That was until I developed my own way of finding keywords, which you can see in my video above on how I do my keyword research. But it is a useful tool, but not just for the straightforward keyword research. So let's have a look. So we've got these 4 modules here. Now I must say, I think it costs around $100 to $100 to buy this outright. It's not on subscription. Might be a little bit more now. You would just have to check that by going to Publisher Rocket. So we've got these 4 modules here: keyword search, competition analyzer, category search, and AMS keyword search. That's for Amazon ads. Now I'm not going to be looking at this particular module because it's more related to Amazon ads, and I've not used it for my Amazon ads, so it'd be a bit unfair and for me to go and look at this because it's not something I've used. Because normally the keywords I get when I'm doing my research into books, I usually use those in my Amazon ads because I've got to know those keywords quite well and assess them thoroughly. So let's first of all look at the module keyword search. So it asks you for your keyword. Now we're going to be looking at a general niche like colouring books. So we want to click on book and let's just type in colouring. I normally start with a very broad word because we are searching in the book, so it's not going to bring up things like colouring pencils, colouring pens. We are just going to get the books and click on Go Get 'em Rocket. Now I have done this search before and we'll see what comes up. Now I noticed there weren't a huge number of keywords that come up for such a short word. So what I did was I then went back and looked at colouring book. And this time a lot more keywords came up. So we'll just stick to colouring book, okay? And again, I've done this search before so it can see where I've clicked on these buttons here. Now what I like about this is you can get your keywords. We've got a big list here, all different ideas. And it's a quick way of getting them. You can see how fast that was. What I normally do is go through each keyword, and ones that I'm interested in, I'll click on Analyze. And the ones I'm interested in are related to the books, related to what we're doing. Again, because you might get keywords that come up here that are not relevant to us. So just go through and click Analyze, colouring book for adults, Analyze, colouring books for girls, Analyze, and so on. And then this gives us quite useful information. Now, one bit that seems to have changed and is not as useful is this list here where it says number of competitors. It just says greater than 1,200. And if we click over the question mark, it says that Amazon's limiting the information that Publisher Rocket now gets. So that's not as helpful because I like to pick keywords that are less than 1,000. But I also like to know if one is like, you know, competitors of 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, etc. And this won't tell us that anymore. But if we go to one, let's have a look, say for this one. Let's see if it'll tell us if it's less than 1,000. It should do. Colouring book cafe, colouring books for adults. That still comes up quite high. I'd have to go through and find an obscure keyword. Let's just have a look in the other tab. Now these look like, this will give us an idea. Crayola colour, wonder colouring pad, Doc McStuffins. It says not available. Okay, let's try another one. 239. Okay, well we know that it will tell us if it's less than 1,000, which is useful because I tend to go for keywords with search results of less than 1,000, because it means that there's a good chance, particularly if we're not using ads, of getting our books ranked on Amazon. Because remember, when you first publish your book, you've got no sales history and you've got no reviews. You are in competition with everyone that's out there, and you've got no history. So it can be quite tough. So you don't want to go for an over-competitive niche where there's, say, 20, 30,000 people in the search results, because your chances of getting on that first page, which is where you need to be to make sales really, and ideally in the top half of the first page, the chances of you doing that with so many competitors is very slim, unless you start using ads on your book. Sometimes, you could be lucky. You may have produced this certain book that Amazon goes, that's perfect, that's what we're looking for, let's put it up there. But the chances are very slim, and you want to give yourself the best chance to start making sales. So we can see here we've got the number of competitors, and we've got these two columns which I like to look at, mostly the Amazon searches per month. Now Amazon again doesn't give these figures out, so all software products look at their history of searches that they've had in the past, and they'll use an algorithm to get an estimate of the Amazon searches per month. And that's useful to know. And you've also got the Google searches per month. What I like is if I've see a book that's been searched on Amazon, if it's being searched on Google, it also means that it's a popular keyword and something worth looking at. And we get this competitive score here, which must be some sort of ratio between the number of competitors divided by the searches per month. And the higher the number, the more competitive it is. So you can see these would expect in something like the colouring book niche. If we go back to look at Crayola Colour Wonder Mess Free Colouring, which isn't a book but it's a keyword, we've got here a competitive score of 1. So if that was something you were aiming to sell, if you weren't selling books and you were selling other stuff, that would be one that you would look at. But these are all highly competitive according to this score. So unless you were using ads, you may not want to look at these straight away. And what you can do is just click on export, download this as a spreadsheet file, and then you can go and do further analysis on it. Now what I do like about this, and this is very quick, rather than you having to go to Amazon, put in a keyword, looking at other competitors, we can just click on the competition here. Because when I'm doing or assessing a keyword, I like to look at the number of competitors, which is this first column. If it's 1,000 or less, that says okay, that's something I'm interested in. Then I'd go and put it into the search bar in Amazon. But in Publisher Rocket, what you can do is just click on competition. It will give us the listing on of the top, I think it's the top 10 something, top 10 books. And it'll give us some very interesting metrics. It will give us the author. So you may find that one author, like this Jade Summer here, was actually producing a few good selling books. You may want to look at her other books. So go to Amazon, put in the author name and look what other books they're producing, because success often follows success. If they've got one successful book, they'll often have quite a few, and it's worthwhile doing that to get inspiration. Again, here with Caffeine Star Press, or they've got Caffeine Star Publishing, that may be the same person. Now this is the most important metric on this page for me, and that's the bestsellers ranks, because not only do I want search results of 1,000 or less, I want to see that books for that keyword are making sales. So I normally say that if there's 3 books on the first page, in this case it'll be the top, I think it's top 10. Let's just have a look. Yeah, it looks like top 10. If you've got 3 books in there with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000, so 3 books each with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000, it means they're making sales. It means that you're not trying to invent the wheel, you're not trying to use a keyword that nobody else is using, or that there's no evidence for any sales. Time is short. You don't want to start going for something that is an experiment. I've got a feeling this could work, particularly if it's a book like a colouring book, which takes a good amount of time to produce. If it's a low content book, a logbook or a blank line journal, you can create one of those quite easily in half an hour with a bit of practice, and you can go for some of the more unusual stuff, because you're only losing an hour or so of your time. But something that takes a long time to produce, a puzzle book, activity book, you want to make sure that the sale's there already. So here we can see that the bestsellers ranks, as would be expected for these types of colouring books in the top 10, are all very low. They're selling hundreds and making a lot of money. And what it also tells us is the keyword for in this instance colouring book, is it in the title? Is it in the subtitle? Because a keyword in the title is very powerful. So you may look at your niche and go, okay, it fits the criteria of the less than 1,000. We've got a few books that are selling well according to the bestsellers rank. And if you've got books where the keyword is not appearing in the title, that are ranked highly, then that says that, well, if I use that keyword in my title, I've got a very good chance of getting ranked. And in some instances, you'll find that the keyword is neither in the title nor the subtitle. And again, I mean, that could be a book that's ranked number 1, which says that, you know, there's a good chance if you use that keyword in the title, a variant of it in the subtitle, there's a very good chance you could get your book ranked above that book, particularly once you start to get sales, particularly once you start to get some feedback on your book. And just a couple of interesting metrics here, the daily sales and the monthly sales, which can be quite eye-opening and eye-watering if you look at this. I mean, just off one book, one colouring book, this person's making $66,000 a month. More than most people make in a year, which is incredible and can show you how lucrative some of these niches can be. But again, they're lucrative, but they're highly competitive. And the next button we had was the category search. I know a lot of people get excited about categories. I don't get too excited about categories. I think it's worthwhile if you want to try and get one of those orange bestsellers badges. But often, in order to do that, you need to go and get your book in a very obscure category that's often unrelated to books. So it might be something like complex algebra and equations in astrophysics, just an example. In which case, to get to number 1 in that category, you might get there with a bestsellers rank of, say, 500,000. So you'd get your bestsellers badge, but you wouldn't be having your book in the appropriate category. And I know lots of people do this. And yes, getting that bestsellers rank does give your book a bit of oomph in the search. Customers do notice it, but you're gaming the system a bit. And, you know, it is very hard to get that number 1 spot in any category. It can be done. I've done it before in short stories that I've produced. And yes, it does help. But it is gaming the system. Amazon doesn't seem to mind you doing that at the moment. In the future, they might do a big audit one day and you never know. But this is a very good way of finding categories for your books rather than searching through that list in the KDP dashboard, which, yes, is a bit of a pain trying to find an appropriate category. You can just go in here and put in colouring. Bang, and there you go. You've got all the categories there. And it also gives you ideas, if you run down that, for, say, colouring books or whatever niche you're looking at, gives you ideas for other types of books. Because I never would have thought of comics and manga colouring books or even religious colouring books. So, or cities and architecture colouring books. There you go, some ideas for a niche within a niche. So 1, it gives you some extra ideas. And 2, it'll tell you the bestsellers rank of the number 1 book. And now if you're trying to go for the number 1 spot in colouring books, I think you'd be very pushed to get the number 1 bestsellers rank overall. And in order to do that, it says you'd need 2,250 sales. It doesn't, and that's per day. But it tells you the bestsellers ranks you'd need to get to the number 1. Here we've got one down here, but it's in the Kindle ebooks store. And we can just narrow that down by just keeping it to books. So if you were wanting to try and get that number 1 bestsellers rank, you could say, okay, I'm going to put my colouring book in this category. You still need to sell 56 a day, which again is a lot. But that's useful for quickly coming up with categories. And so you can just go into the KDP dashboard, choose the relevant category. Now, if your category is not in that KDP dashboard, what you can do after your book is published, you can email KDP support and give them the category or categories that you like your book to be published in, and often they'll put it in other categories as well. So that's just a brief overview of Publisher Rocket. Yes, it's worth it to get information other than keywords, and it can speed up your analysis because it's got shortcut buttons like Competition Analyzer. In terms of just getting the keywords on its own, if that's all you wanted to use it for, I'd say probably not, because you can get those by doing keyword research in the Amazon search bar. But if you wanted to speed up your research and get lists of the books and look at the bestsellers ranks, get the categories, look at the number of sales, how much they're making, here's a keyword in the title, then yes, I would recommend using a tool like this. It just speeds up the process. Again, you've got to pay for it, so it's probably something you look at once you've started making sales to invest in your own business. So that's it for now. I hope you found it useful. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And also hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and until next time, goodbye.